20-year-old Tammy Thorpe had left her home around 9 p.m. on October 21st, 1988, to attend a dance at the Marshall Ruderin Club. Sometime after arriving at the dance, Tammy was asked to dance by a man, but Tammy turned this man down. He ended up getting mad because Tammy refused to dance with him, so he threatened her life over such a small thing. Later that night, Fauquier County Sheriff's deputies arrested a man in the parking lot for having a gun. During the arrest, the man resisted. A deputy ended up arresting the man on Tammy Thorpe's 1986 Pontiac Grand Am. Tammy loved her car because she had purchased the car herself and was irritated because the arrest may have dented her car. The dance ended at 1 a.m. Everybody left to go home. The next time Tammy was seen was about an hour later at 2 a.m. by her parents, Lorraine and Richard Thorpe, at the Marshall 7-Eleven. Tammy's mom had seen her and told her, "Hey Tammy, come on home, get ready for bed." The last time Tammy was seen was at the Chevron gas station in Warrenton, Virginia at 2:45 a.m. Families say Tammy is rarely out past 2, and if she is out in Warrenton, then her next stop would be at the Howard Johnson's to eat. After Tammy was seen at the Chevron gas station getting gas, nobody's seen Tammy again. Lisa Thorpe is Tammy's sister. The night before, she had left her car at the Warrenton bowling alley before she had went out that night. The next morning at 7 a.m., Lisa went back to retrieve her car at the bowling alley and noticed a gold Pontiac Grand Am parked in the same parking lot. Lisa thought the car looked like her sister Tammy's car. She went up and looked at the car, seen the license plate at 86-Tammy. Lisa knew it was Tammy's car. When she looked at the car, the keys were still in ignition, the doors were locked, and Tammy's purse was in the car. About 20 minutes after Lisa Thorpe had found her sister's car at the Warrenton bowling alley parking lot, someone driving down a private gravel road off of Route 17 had seen a body in the gravel road's ditch. This road is about a quarter-mile outside of the town of Warrenton. The body is identified as Tammy Thorpe. Her body had multiple gunshot wounds by a smaller caliber gun. The police couldn't find any evidence that Tammy was a victim of a robbery or a struggle. Warrenton was a small rural town back in 1988. It still is small today, but has grown a lot since 1988. In 1980 to 1990, the town of Warrenton grew from 3,907 in 80 and went up to 4,830 in 1990. In 2019, there's only 10,027 residents living there. When the news hit about Tammy Thorpe being murdered in this small rural town, rumors started going around about who might have committed the murder. People around town at the time believed Tammy was killed by someone she knew. The FBI has reported a profile of the killer. Quotes, "He was likely a white male living in the Fauquier County area and has most likely shown signs of psychological stress." A few years later, in 92, a man, Dwayne Meacham, was in a Winchester hospital when he admitted to a couple of the employees that worked there that he killed Tammy Thorpe. Nobody had let the police know about this confession until 2004. Dwayne Meacham became the suspect in Tammy Thorpe's case. There was one thing, though. Dwayne wasn't living in the States anymore. He had fled to Canada not long after his home was searched by the police. The police have said there is new evidence they have found, but nobody knows what this evidence is. The only suspect is Dwayne Meacham. Only info I have found is that as of 2022, he is living in the States again. No arrests have been made, hoping soon Tammy Thorpe's case can be solved.
Developed new evidence in a 1988 cold case, the murder of Tammy Thorpe. It is a case Fox 5 has profiled several times through the years. Paul Wagner with the exclusive tonight from Warrenton.
Good evening. It was 31 years ago this week that Tammy Thorpe's freshly washed car was found in this parking lot here in Warrenton. Her body was discovered about a mile and a half from here. She'd been shot to death. In the 31 years since Tammy Thorpe's body was found along the side of the road just outside of Warrenton, there have been many twists and turns. Search warrants have been filed. A pond has been drained. A person of interest fled to Canada. And now investigators say they have new evidence being tested at the State Crime Lab in Richmond.
Right now we're working with the Office of the Commonwealth Attorney and the Department of Forensic Science here in Virginia to examine new evidence that's been uncovered, to compare it to evidence that was recovered from the crime scene 30 years ago.
That person of interest, Dwayne Meacham, whose name became public in a 2004 search warrant, is now back in the United States, and investigators say he is still a person of interest. Scott Hook is Commonwealth's attorney.
I grew up in Fauquier County. I can remember when it happened, and I remember all the various attempts to resolve it, over the last 31 years. I think it's about time that we put it to rest, and I think we have the capability and crew to do that.
Tammy Thorpe was found shot in the face just hours after complaining that her car had been scratched during an arrest outside a dance hall in Marshall, Virginia. The deputy who made that arrest is now the sheriff and one of the last people to see her alive.
I did speak with Tammy that night. I just explained to her to get the car washed and bring it by the next day. This is personal for me, Paul, because this was something I was engaged in doing my job as a law enforcement officer that night.
As Fox 5 previously reported, a court affidavit says two people came forward in 2004 to say Dwayne Meacham had confessed to them in the early 90s, but no charges have ever been filed. Investigators say that evidence is now being tested against evidence that was recovered back in 1988, and they're hoping this now will bring a resolution to the case. We'll throw it back into you.